Happy Monday, everyone. I hope you all had a great weekend and a special welcome to those who are going to catch us on the replay. I am Teri True Crime, and this is Midday Missing, where we shine a spotlight on current missing person cases that deserve more attention. At TCWT Media, we offer a wide range of shows like True Crime and Wine Time, The Hey Ho Show, The Investigation into the Disappearance of Chase Lackey, Night Court, Midday Missing, and the transcripts. Plus, we have our latest series, Dearest Mother's Darkest Secrets, which is exclusively on YouTube with new episodes every Tuesday. Channel members get early access a week before the public. So we do go live several times a week. So be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay in the loop. And guys, we have much new and exciting content coming up. You're not going to want to miss it. And for those of you who want even more, consider joining our channel membership. Members get early access to content, exclusive videos, and exclusive content and live chats with me and JT and much more. And guys, we have several membership tiers that are available. Now, tonight, guys, we have a special live stream episode of True Crime and Wine Time at 8 p.m. Eastern. We are thrilled to welcome Chief Judge Belvin Perry to discuss his incredible career from presiding over the Casey Anthony trial to his deep insights into the legal system. He will be joined by his co-author, Amy Mitchell. They will delve into their book, The Velvet Hammer, and they will share stories from the courtroom and talk about some of the most notorious cases in modern history, which includes Judas, and I cannot pronounce the last name, so we're just going to say the Black Widow. Now, this is an exclusive live stream you won't want to miss, and it is hosted by me, Teri True Crime, and JT. This will only be on YouTube. It will not be streamed on Facebook as Midday Missing is. So let's get to our case today. So today we have a very special episode as we continue our mission to bring attention to current missing person cases. And I am honored to be joined by two incredible guests who are here to help us shed light on the disappearance of Bryan Vladek Hasel, who went missing in November of 2021. And we will refer to Bryan as Vladek because that is the name he chose to go by. So first, welcome, ladies. We have Bethany, Vladek's sister, who I have to say you have been tireless in advocating for your brother and searching for answers. And I love that. And we are also joined by Haley Gray, who is dedicated missing person advocate who has been working closely with families like Bethany's. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, no. Like I said, I appreciate it. But before we get into Vladek's story, I want to know how the two of you met and joined forces.
Yeah, so I met Haley through Moms and Mysteries, who's a podcast that I met at CrimeCon Orlando. And they actually live locally to me, so they were able to partner up with Vladek's case, and they've been a tremendous help. They introduced us to Haley. Haley helps their podcast with researching and so many other things with advocacy that I can't even go into all the details, but she is phenomenal, and she has been such a good friend and really close to my family ever since, and we love her dearly.
Well, that's great because Haley, I mean, it's sad to say this, but we need more people like you because these families go through so much.
Yeah, they really do. I'm always surprised that, like when I offer to help people, they're always like, "Oh my gosh, no one's ever offered that before." And I'm like, "Why not?"
I know. I hear the same thing, with some of the families we have come on, and I'm like, "You mean nobody has offered that?" And I'm always shocked as well. And there are times, and I've said on here, I wish that I did this full time so that we could help even more families like we do with Chase Lackey's family. And that's why we started Midday. We can't, help as much as we'd like, but we can try to spotlight and get it out there. Because the other thing is, we
Huge.
find the cases do not get the attention they deserve.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So I want to thank you both so much for being here. And Bethany, I know this has, not easy for you, but I am grateful, that you're here and that you're willing to talk to us and help us understand more about Vladek's case and what happened. So I first want to learn a little bit more about Vladek. So can you tell us about him?
Yeah, so Vladek and Irina, we adopted them from Russia in 2004. Vladek was 5 at the time, and he has always been the active kid, always outside, um, having new adventures, climbing trees, that type of personality. Always big in sports growing up. Basketball has been one of his favorite sports that
Oh,
he still enjoys into adulthood. Um, and yeah, just one that never really sat still, always wanted to be on the go. And that's kind of like his personality into adulthood as well. So just a big heart.
what are some of your fondest memories? Because I'm sure there are many, but what are some of your favorites?
There are several. At one point in time, it was just Vladek and I living at home. Everyone else had moved out. So I really cherish that time together because we got really close over those years. He would go out with me to the barn and go horseback riding with me, and I would teach him how to ride. And it's not something that my other siblings really had an interest in, but Vladek would. I don't know if he really had an interest in it or it was more to kind of make me happy.
I should say maybe he just wanted to, his interest was in his sister and doing things that she loved.
Yeah, but he's a trooper. Even the year before he went missing, we went to North Carolina, some of my family and I, for my birthday. And those are other memories that I really cherish because it was like my parents, Jody, Vladek, and I. And the rest of my family isn't able to really get out there active due to health restraints. But Vladek and I, we were able to do hikes together. So I really cherish those hikes that we did. Um, and we also went horseback riding. And he was a trooper. It was an intense trail ride for a trail ride. Like it had recently rained really hard, and the trail you have to
Oh, no.
ride through the river, straight
Oh,
up the river for quite a ways. And the current was really strong up to it reached like our ankles, if not mid calf at some spots. And he did it.
I'm like, I like to ride horses, but I'm sitting here thinking, I don't know if I would have done that.
Yeah,
So he definitely sounds like he was a trooper.
he is. He is. So I love those
Oh,
together.
well, and I try to tell people the memories never fade. People think they would, but it's like, that's get out there and make those memories. Now, can you walk us through the days leading up to his disappearance in 2021?
Yeah. To talk about the days leading up, have to backtrack a little bit.
Sure.
So he, throughout his entire childhood into adulthood, he's always had a deep desire to join the Marines. It's always been his life goal. And he joined. He worked really hard to be able to join, lost a lot of weight, exercised quite often to be able to enlist, and went to the San Diego boot camp, graduated, And after he graduated, he was given a desk job, which isn't what he had anticipated. He's like I've mentioned, he's a very active person. So being put behind a desk was not what he was expecting at all. He even received like a marksmanship award and all that. So he had anticipated being more of that role. So while there, he was able to speak with people over him and find a way to get a discharge. He said it was bringing up negative memories from his childhood in Russia. So they issued the discharge. On the paperwork, they put under honorable conditions for failure to adapt. He came back to live with my dad and really kind of struggled for what was next because there wasn't a plan B. That was his life goal. And then like 6 months later, he went to go live with Carrie. COVID happened a couple months later after that. And at the time he got a job. He was working at a hospital, cleaning hospital rooms. And a lot of the nurses have said how much of a help he was through that time, because there'd be COVID positive patients that the rooms needed to be cleaned, and he would be the one to volunteer to go in and clean them. Carrie was a single mother. At the time, she had to take a leave from her job since the daycares were closed.
Right.
So I was really able to step up and help provide income to cover the bills for them during that time. He moved back to my dad's in the September of 2020, and my dad was remarried, and his wife at the time was putting a lot of pressure on to Vladek, you need to get a job. And Dad didn't want to put too much pressure on him because he felt like Vladek was, struggling with what's next, They ended up moving out, and there was other stuff going on in the relationship, but Dad ended up getting a divorce, and Vladek and Dad eventually landed at the Place at Alafaya apartment complex in November of 2020, and they were there when Vladek went missing. At the beginning of 2021, Vladek seemed to find more of a purpose. He started helping the homeless population. He started giving tips to waiters and waitresses after having conversations with them. If they mentioned that they were going through a rough time, he would leave a very large tip, $100, $300 tip.
So he found his purpose helping people.
He really did. And my dad was supporting him financially the whole time, and he was fine with however Vladek chose to use the money, because it really felt like he was finding a purpose. He was happy. And then also at the beginning of that year, he kind of changed in his perspective on materialistic things. Like, he had always wanted name brand shoes, name brand clothes, the Michael Jordans, what have you, the newest iPhone. But at that beginning of that year, he would say things like, things of this world are a distraction. I don't need it. Why are we here when we can just be in heaven? We grew up Christian, but this was a whole nother level that he was taking.
Sounds like it.
So he would make offhand comments like that, and he had also made comments about wanting to hike the Appalachian Trail and live off the grid and live that minimalistic lifestyle. But he had told Dad that he would never make those changes or do that kind of thing until Dad had no longer here to take care of, had passed away, kind of thing, because he knew how much of a help Vladek was to him. So the comments that he made about the Appalachian Trail never really seemed he would say things to like get reactions of people too.
Right.
So more like a what's the word I'm looking for? A big idea, but not something that he had plans to actually follow through with.
Okay.
And when we started making plans for my birthday in November, um, I decided to go to Tennessee, and it was gonna be my parents again, and a couple friends, and Vladek was gonna go too. And a couple days before we left, Vladek decided to stay home, which wasn't completely out of character for him, because sometimes Vladek would just opt to have his own time, do his own thing. And yeah, a couple days before my dad left, Vladek had purchased a pocket knife and said, that he bought it for protection. And the car that he shared with dad had broke down that night. And it ended up being towed to the shop and remained at the shop till dad got back. And there, I lost my train of thought. I'm
Did he
sorry.
say, sorry to interrupt, did he say why he thought he needed protection, or just in general, he thought the pocket knife would be good for protection?
He didn't say why,
Okay.
and like dad didn't press him, but Vladek is always, when he thinks of getting a pocket knife, it's just something to have on hand for protection.
Right.
Like, so it kind of seemed like that was the response. Like, it's just a just in case thing, like
Right.
for protection
Okay.
kind of thing. Like, he didn't really make a big deal of it being for protection. It was just
Okay.
an offhanded comment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, and tell us about the day he went missing, or when when I know you said he didn't decided not to go on your birthday trip. What led to you knowing that he was missing?
Yeah. So while we were gone, my dad tried reaching out to him via text and calls, but he never responded back. We were in the mountains and didn't have much signal, so we weren't really sure like what was going through or not. And when my dad got back on November 15th, he picked up the car that they shared on the way back and got to the apartment. And the package that he had told Vladek that he was expecting to come, that Vladek had told him that he would bring inside, was still outside the apartment door. Dad went inside. Everything seemed like it was when Dad left. Still about the same amount of food, no new dishes. Everything kind of seemed like it the day Dad left, and we didn't worry too much because Dad had told Vladek he was getting home the next day.
Oh,
So for him not to be there then, maybe Dad was thinking he may have stayed at a friend's house.
right.
So when the next night came around and Vladek still hadn't responded, and Dad also found Vladek's phone in his bedroom. It was sitting next to the charger, but it wasn't plugged in. It wasn't charged. It was dead. So when the next night came and there was still no Vladek, Vladek's a night owl. Maybe he's up late, driving or
Right.
around, and we'll come back 1 a.m. or something. Still no Vladek. So Wednesday morning, I called the Orange County Sheriff's Office to start the missing persons report. And then they went ahead and came out and started that process.
What was their initial response? Because sometimes, we hear they say, oh, they're an adult. They have the right to not be here, or maybe they ran away. What kind of response did you get?
Um, so they were more willing to listen to us since we hadn't heard from him since November 6th. He had called him and Arena had a phone conversation at the early morning hours that day. So since it had been over a week, they did come out and take the report. The detective that initially came out was standing in Vladek's room with my dad, and he saw an article of clothing that Vladek is known to wear, like these gold legging pants. You can't miss them. And he started to describe Vladek to my dad before the detective even saw a picture of him. And the detective was like, "Isn't your son, blonde hair, about 5'7" or so, hefty guy, usually wears a black hoodie and those pants?" And Dad said, "Yeah, that describes him pretty well." And the officer said, "I know Vladek. He came up to me and my partner just recently and thanked us for our service and started to have a conversation with us." And like, that's just the kind of personality Vladek is. Like, he'll start up conversations with people to learn your story.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And that weekend, the sheriff's office went door to door, and they had helicopter over air with thermal scanners, and they did other searches. And the only thing that they found at some point during those initial searches was a red slide shoe. And they showed a picture of it to my dad. And my dad said, "Well, Vladek wears slides, but I don't remember if he has a red pair or not." And in February, when they met with us, they showed me the picture, and I pretty much said the same thing. I don't remember if he has a red pair or not. It was during that meeting in February that we learned that Vladek had received a trespass warning at Foxtail. And Foxtail Coffee House is a place that Vladek would frequent regularly. The manager said up to 3 times a week, and he would spend hours there. So when the detective mentioned, because the detective was talking about possible sightings and that kind of thing, and there was a possible sighting at the apartment complex on the 15th, and then I had asked her if there's a way to confirm if it was in fact the 15th, and she said, no, but I can tell you that our department interacted with him on November 6th, 2021 during the trespass at Foxtail. And that really caught me off guard because Vladek's never been in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And I had asked them, like, why? How did he get a trespass? What was it for? And she seemed to not really know the details of it. She just said, "Oh, your brother, he was probably just talking too much."
I don't think they give you trespass for talking too much, because if so, I would have a lot of trespass charges.
Yeah, so I found that really odd. During that conversation, before I knew about Foxtail, I had asked them, like, Vladek frequents these fast food places around their apartment complex. Like, that's his hangout spots, Foxtail, Zaxby's, Wawa, all these places. Like, were you able to go to these places that he would go to? There was probably like 6 or 7. And asked them to review their footage over the time we were gone.
Mm-hmm.
Were you able to review street camera footage, like that kind of thing? And she said that the street camera footage was not usable, that it was either not functioning or didn't record, and to ask these businesses to review their footage or for them to review it would be too much to look through, is what she told me.
Okay. Well, it would be too much. It would
Too
be
much.
too much work, basically. Okay.
Yeah. And then I learned about Foxtail, and knowing that they had a place to start from to track
Mm-hmm.
its movements, they themselves saw him at Foxtail. They could have kind of tracked him from there of where he went.
Right.
But they didn't. Like, they just kind of shrugged it off. So we went to Foxtail, or we reached out to Foxtail to see if the manager would be willing to talk with us to shed some more light onto what happened. Why did he get a trespass warning? And the manager did sit down with us and said that on Thursday, November 4th, a customer had made a complaint that Vladek was making him feel uncomfortable. And the manager said, it's not uncommon for a customer to complain that Vlad makes them feel uncomfortable because Vladek kind of has like an atypical personality at the coffee shop, where he'll get his coffee and sometimes he'll pace around the coffee shop listening to his music. He doesn't sit still, kind of thing. And sometimes he'll kind of sing to his music a little bit, and customers will be like, can you ask him to sit down? Can you ask him to quiet down? Every time the employees would ask Vladek to sit down or keep it down, Vladek would. And so this time, customer made a complaint saying that he was making him feel uncomfortable. He didn't really go into specifics, but that customer then left. He said he was going to leave. So since that guy left, they didn't say anything to Vladek. The customer came back later on and said, hey, I think Vladek might have been sitting outside at this point. He said, hey, I just want to let you know the person I made that complaint about, I also saw him place a pocket knife on the table. So since Foxtail has a zero weapons policy, they decided to go ahead and issue a trespass warning, which I get it. You just don't know nowadays. At this point, Vladek had already left. He wasn't there. He was unaware that there was any issue. Dad left for Tennessee the following day. On Friday the 5th, Vladek helped him get the suitcase in the car, pack the car. Dad left him with $100, a credit card, and he asked him if he wanted any more groceries for the fridge. Vladek said, no, this is plenty. Dad told him that the package was coming in a couple days if he could bring it inside. Vladek said he would. Later on, at like 2 a.m. Saturday morning, Vladek and Irina have a phone conversation. Irina is his biological sister. And they typically call each other, talk at least once a day. She said there was nothing out of the ordinary with the conversation. It was about 5 minutes, just checking in on each other. It was kind of a typical time for them to talk at the early hour mornings because they're both up. They're night owls.
They're not owls.
So the following morning we learned that Vladek went back to Foxtail. And what's kind of weird to me is that he went back there so early. Vladek sleeps in. He doesn't wake up before 11 typically, but he walked back to Foxtail, and on the timestamp is at like 8:30 Saturday morning. And he walked there because he didn't have access to a vehicle. So he bought a cup of coffee, and Foxtail went ahead and had the sheriff's office come out to issue the trespass warning. And when the officer came out, he didn't tell Vladek why. He just said kind of a generic, it's a private business. They can issue a trespass, whatever they feel. And you could, we've seen the body cam footage. We didn't get to see it until like September, so like 10 months after he went missing. But you could really see like the hurt and confusion in his eyes. And throughout the whole thing, he was still trying to be, kind and talk about, how's your day going? Trying to talk about the weather, just trying to make small
Well, he wasn't being mean, or he wasn't, trying to aggravate. Now, does trespass mean he can never go back there?
The officer told him that if he ever came back, he would be arrested. So They called it a trespass warning.
Okay. I just didn't know that meant you can never go back. Wow. Because it's a public coffee house. It's a retail place. Okay.
Yeah. So in the body cam footage, like, he pulls out things from his pockets, and he's got the credit card Dad left him with, a Bank of America card, his driver's license. He doesn't have the pocket knife on him or anything. And the officer asks him, about his phone. And Vladek says, I just got a new number. I don't remember the number. My phone's left at the apartment. And like everything on his person, the credit card, the Bank of America card, driver's license, the clothing he's wearing is all still missing.
Okay.
Last charge, or the only charge on that credit card that Dad left him, was for Foxtail. There's no other charges been since that time. When he said his phone was still at the apartment, when Dad got back to the apartment the following week, his phone was there, the pocket knife was there, all of that.
So they didn't try to go from Foxtail. You know he's there. You talked to him. Now
Sorry.
you hear a week later is missing. Just me. I'm not in law enforcement, but couldn't you have gone and looked at the cameras and kind of tracked where he went?
Yeah. But
And they didn't.
I feel like they did what they, quote unquote, were obligated to do with the searching, but they didn't. I feel like they treated him as an adult man that walked away, and they didn't dig deep, which, you don't know if he walked away on his own accord or not, unless you dig,
Right. I
unless
was
you,
say, how do you know? And maybe
how
he
can you,
meant to walk somewhere and
and,
maybe something happened while he was doing that.
right. So yeah, I had spoken with the apartment complex to see if there was any footage at the complex. I stopped by their office the day we reported him missing, and I said, hey, do you have any footage? Is there any cameras? And they said that there's a camera in the laundry room and the gym. And Vladek used that gym often. Like, that was one of his places to go. They said the footage saves for about a week, but they couldn't show me or let me see it. It had to go through law enforcement. So I just told the detective that day, said, hey, they've got footage, saves for about a week. In case he went missing between this time frame and not near the time. At this point, I didn't know about Foxtail, but still,
Right.
this would have been after Foxtail, but just in case,
Right.
they'll show it to you. It keeps for a week. And I followed up a week later to check in to see what they found, and the detective said it was still on their list of things to do.
Even though they were only going to keep it for a week, that's
Yeah.
an expiration date. Like
Yeah.
milk. You don't drink milk past, so you got to do it beforehand. Okay.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. I feel like the ball was dropped in some critical areas that could have really helped his case early on. There's no turning back the clock now, but like, they had Vladek's phone. They had the laptop that Dad shared with Vladek. I don't think the laptop really held much because it was kind of tucked away in a closet for a year. So I don't think that was, I'm not too worried about that. But like, they gave his phone back to us in February, 3 months later.
They
And
gave the phone back?
yeah, they gave it back to us. And I asked the detective, like, did you learn anything from the phone? Were you able to speak with anyone that Vladek had been in contact with? And the detective looked me straight in the eyes and said, no, I thought you did. So, like, what was the point of having it for these 3 months? Like, I
He
wasn't.
thought you did his job for him. Okay. I have to tell you, you would think after all this time I would not be shocked by stuff, but wow. Wow.
Yeah, after all the, like,
So they didn't take it. serious.
don't
It
impede
doesn't sound
the
like.
investigation. Like, they didn't even want us posting flyers. Like, you go from not wanting us posting flyers, not wanting us to have our own search teams come out, and now you're saying you didn't look at the phone because you thought I did. Like, it was just really frustrating. Extremely
Why
frustrating.
why didn't they want you to put posters out?
I don't know.
Did they have a
We did, but they weren't happy about it.
well,
But
you did the right thing. They can get over that. Now, he was reported being seen at the apartments, right? Like November 12th or 15th. Did
yes.
were those sightings credible? Did anybody have door camera ring bells or anything? I forget what they're called, ring cameras.
Yeah. So I believe the sightings happened. There were people that hung out with Vladek, played basketball with Vladek.
Okay.
I'm not sure if the dates are right.
Okay.
So the November 12th sighting, that was from a maintenance worker at the apartment complex. He had, my dad and I posted flyers in the apartment complex with my dad's phone number on them on day one. And the maintenance worker left a voicemail on dad's phone saying, "Hey, I saw your son. We talked for about 5 minutes last Friday at the basketball court. And my dad is hard of hearing. So when he heard the voicemail, he thought the maintenance worker said that we should check the woods because he saw Vladek walk into the woods." So that's the report that we relayed to the
Okay.
I listened to the voicemail a few days later, and I realized that the maintenance worker said you should check the woods because Vladek was known to hang out in the woods and smoke and sing and that kind of thing. Didn't
So it
actually,
wasn't seen that day going there. Okay.
he wasn't seen walking into the woods. That stayed as on their flyer till a couple months, even though we tried to get them to change it. So a lot of the news stations at the beginning put that in their story that Vladek was seen walking off into the woods. But I wonder if that sighting, the maintenance worker didn't give it an exact date. He just said last Friday. And last Friday can mean many things to many people.
Right.
Friday could be it could mean this past Friday or it could mean a week ago Friday.
Right.
So to me, it seems more plausible that interaction happened on Friday the 5th, the day my dad left town, because everything seemed to stop after November 6th. His phone, all the text messages, phone calls, all missed calls from the 6th on. Arena started blowing up his phone, trying to get a hold of him from the 6th on, and he never answered her. He never brought in that package. And my dad and Vladek's apartment is literally 20-ish feet from the basketball court, and you have to take the sidewalk that's in front of their door to get to the basketball court. So
Okay.
he would walk by their front door. If he was really there on the 12th, wouldn't he have brought it inside? Wouldn't he have checked his
Right.
after a week? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So that's why I really wonder if it was the 5th or not. And the other sighting was November 15th. A friend of his said that he came to his door 3 a.m. on the 15th and asked if he could stay the night there. And his friend said, "You can't. I'm sorry. My girlfriend's here. Her kids are going to be getting up soon to get ready for school. There's just not enough space." And Vladek, is there any words I can't say?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No.
Vladek immediately asked for a gun. And his friend said, "No, I don't have a gun. Why do you need it?" And Vladek told him that it was for protection. And when his friend kind of pressed him, protection against what? Vladek said, "For an animal." And Vladek is one that he doesn't like people to worry about him. He doesn't he wants to learn your story, but he won't share
He
what's going
downplays his.
Yeah. He
Okay.
doesn't want anyone to worry about him at all. So when he said, like, for an animal, I wonder if he was just trying to downplay it
Downplay it.
a bit.
Like,
But it's hard to say. And then he told him, Vladek told his friend that he wanted to go off grid. And I wonder, like, I just wonder if that interaction actually happened on the 15th, since everything seemed to stop on the 6th. Like, where was he that week? Why
right.
now showing up at his friend's house? And what his friend describes him as wearing seems very similar to what he's wearing during the Foxtail trespass.
Mm.
So, like, yeah.
Why did the friend think it was the 15th? Was he just like, "Oh, I think it was the 15th," or was he like adamant, "No, I know for sure it was the 15th"?
That's just what the detective relayed to us.
Okay.
I haven't
Oh,
talked to
y'all
him
haven't talked to the friend. Okay.
specifically. My PI Steve Fisher has had long conversations with them, but like it's been so long, like it's one of those things. Like it seems like it was the 15th, but I just really wonder, was
Right.
it? You know,
Yes, it's
it's hard to say.
nothing after. Did
Yeah,
the police ever check to see, like, if somebody's actually in an apartment, like if he would have went home, he would have used water, electricity. Did they check to see if the usage went up, showing somebody was in the apartment? Did they do anything like that?
that would have been really smart. I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, that might be something PI can maybe look into, see, because if he goes in and you turn on the TV, the radio, or the hot shower,
Hmm.
to maybe find out if he did go back, you could see what date.
Yeah. I'll look into that. I'm not. Hopefully, there's a way to still find that information.
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't know how long.
yeah, but definitely worth looking into for sure.
Yeah. Now, did your dad say anything stood out in the apartment as odd besides the phone and stuff being there? Did it look like he packed things, or does it just look like normal he left?
Just look like normal. Um, no clothes missing that he could tell. Nothing like that. Just yeah. And the other thing is, they never locked the apartment door. They didn't have a key for it. So I wonder if, him asking to stay at different people's houses, if he was in fear of someone. And since
Yeah.
the apartment doesn't have a lock, he didn't want them to find out where he lived, that kind of thing.
Oh, so there wasn't a lock on the door. I thought they just didn't have a key.
He could lock it on the inside,
Oh,
but
but he
if he were to
couldn't.
leave, it it can't be locked.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, since he went missing, in September of 2021, was it?
Hmm.
Freaking 21?
Yeah.
Gosh, it was 2 years ago. That's 2021, right? 2022? 2022. Hurricane Ian hit, and the apartment complex got flooded out. And so now no one lives there. Like, they had to completely evacuate everybody. My dad was in the process of moving in with us that week during the hurricane. So we were in the process of moving some things out, but we weren't able to get everything. Thankfully, my dad wasn't there during the
Yeah.
hurricane, because the apartments closer to the back of the property, some of them got up to 5 feet, 6 feet of water. My dad and Vladek's apartment was closer to the front by the basketball court, and they got 3 feet of water. But we ended up losing majority of Vladek's belongings.
Oh, to the
Hurricane.
hurricane.
Yeah. So, like, even if you were to like show up, that no longer exists
Zest.
either. So
Yeah. Now, he had developed an interest in religion, right? And was spending time at a church. Did he say what drew him to that? I mean, I know he liked helping people. Was there something that, attracted him to them? Because I believe it was a Catholic church.
it was. So it was different because we're raised Christian, but I think it was more the availability of the prayer garden. He really liked being able to go out in their prayer garden and just spend time alone. And he was known to like walk a lot. Like even though him and dad shared a car, oftentimes Vladek would just walk to places instead. So he never told me specifically, but I feel like it was a matter of convenience. He saw it, it's close to their apartment complex, and he just decided to check it out, and that just became a place for him, kind of thing.
Kind of a chill place.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned that his friend said he wanted to live off the grid.
Mm-hmm.
Did do you think there was motivation behind that, or do you think it was one of those just to say, just like when I say I'm going to run off and go live in France, but I don't have any plans to really do it?
It was something he talked about over the year, but I feel like he was trying to hide from someone.
Okay.
Like I feel like there was someone potentially that he was trying to create some space with, but I don't feel like initially it started off with him living off the grid, living a homeless lifestyle.
Right.
Maybe it's become that now, but Vladek's personality, like he did, help the homeless a lot, bringing meals to people, taking them to the movies, that kind of thing. But he also is nothing's diagnosed, but I feel like he has some like OCD personalities where he's constantly washing his hands, couple showers a day. He's afraid of the dark, like stuff like that. I don't feel like that's where it started. I feel like it might have been maybe he went and stayed with a friend somewhere. Maybe something else happened. I don't know. But yeah.
Did he have any social media? Was he on any of the social media platforms
He
like
has
Facebook or anything?
Facebook and an Instagram. Um, Neither one he uses to like post kind of thing. Instagram he used a little bit more than the Facebook, but that had been like 5 years since he had posted anything. He used it more for like messaging and like the video call option.
Mm-hmm.
He would do like he would do that for video calls since like sometimes he had Android and siblings would have iPhones, so you can't do video calls back and forth Facebook. So that was more of how he would utilize those platforms. And then he also really liked to play video games like PlayStation, that kind of thing too.
Now, had he ever gone off before like this and kind of just disappeared even for a day or two, or was this totally out of the norm for him?
Nothing. He's always been in contact with family. He's never not lived with family except for maybe a couple months he lived with a friend. But he's always lived with family otherwise.
Now, I know you've been relentless in getting the word out there and trying to find him. What all steps have you taken because, maybe law enforcement didn't do?
It's truly been with the help of so many individuals that has been able to keep me going, like Haley, Moms and Mysteries, navigating. There's so many people, you guys, that have come alongside to advocate for Vladek, to get his face and name out there. That's what's going to do all the difference. Just because Vladek is known to start up conversations with strangers, I believe there are people out there that will remember him if I can just reach those people. And the only way to reach those people is through social media and getting his story as far out as we can. He doesn't have a passport. Like he didn't go back to Russia.
So he
Anything like
didn't leave.
so.
Now, the police gave you his phone back, right?
Yes.
Were you able to call anybody in there that he had listed as a contact?
Our PI, Steve Fisher, was able to reach out to people, and nothing really that stood out. There there was a couple homeless individuals that had, the only thing that really stood out was like they had reached out to Vladek over like 40 times in the span of a month or so. And Vladek didn't really use his phone very much to begin with. And like that was out of the ordinary. And that was probably like August of 2021, a few months before he went missing. And Vladek broke his phone and told Dad that he broke it because it was a distraction. And he didn't want to get a new phone. It took Dad and Arena convincing him you have to have something.
Right.
And he went without a phone for about 5 weeks before he got the flip phone that he had when he went missing.
Like the old kind of
Yep.
phone?
Old. Yep.
Like the, yeah. No pictures, no camera taken, right?
Yeah.
Just a phone. Okay.
Basic for calling, and you have to type one number multiple times to get a letter.
Yep. I remember that phone now.
Yep. Just, he was minimalistic at that time.
But hey, it was something, you know, at least he had a phone, right?
He had a way of contact. So when he got a new phone about 5 weeks later, he changed the number. And that's not something he had to do. All he really needed to do was get a new phone. He could have kept the same number, but he decided to get a new number. He didn't really give us a reason why or anything. But after looking at the phone call log and everything, you could see that the 40 calls stopped. And when he got a new number, they never continued. So it looks like he was trying to create some space there. So, you know, Vladek he has a very generous heart. He looks for the best in people. And I worry that he might have gotten taken advantage of from individuals. I don't know if there was people that he was afraid of. I don't know. Maybe he was trying to create space, and I don't know. But yeah, that was really concerning to me.
Yeah, 40 times is a lot. Is a lot of calls. Now, how has his disappearance impacted you and the family?
Oh man. I feel like it's still November 17th, 2021, the day he went missing. Like, I can't believe that we're reaching almost 3 years searching for him. I never saw it going out this far. Like, I thought he'd be walking through that door at any point. And, but he hasn't. He hasn't reached out to anyone. And it tears my family up. We're so worried about him. He wouldn't let us worry. He would have, if he chose to go off the grid, do his own thing, he would have reached out to somebody and let us know, like, you can stop. I'm doing my thing. I'm fine.
He wouldn't let you worry.
There's been absolutely nothing. And he doesn't like to be in the spotlight. Like, you have to literally pull teeth to get him in a picture. And if he realized how much his story has been shared, his face, he would have reached out, you know, as soon as he saw it and be like, please stop. I'm good. But there hasn't been any of that. Something's not right.
Have any tips come in that the police have shared with you?
There's been potential tips and that kind of thing, but nothing that's panned out. Yeah. We have no direction of where to look, of where he could be. Like,
And I guess it's too late now to try to get the video from the businesses, right?
Yeah. And it blows my mind because he's so well recognized in East area. Like, I went to all those businesses and passed out flyers, and they all remembered him. They were all like, oh, he comes here all the time, but I haven't seen him since that day he went, or since around he went missing, kind of thing. Like, to go from being so well recognized to nothing.
Yeah, you would
Crazy.
think somebody would have seen
And,
him.
like, he just has such a memorable personality. Like, I had a stranger reach out to me on Reddit and was like, "Oh my gosh, is that your brother that's missing? Is this his phone number?" I had a conversation with him at the gym a few months ago, and he wanted to know about me and all this stuff. And we never ended up hanging out after that, but he gave me his number to hang out. And like, so that interaction was before he went missing, but the number that she sent me, or him, I don't know if him or her, was Vladek's number. So like, that just proves to me that people will remember him if we
They
can just
will.
the right people.
Now, besides the initial thing where it was said that he was walking off into the woods, has there been any other misconceptions or rumors around his disappearance?
Um, hmm. Nothing that comes to mind. Can you think of anything, Haley? I don't. That was
I
the big.
don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, because sometimes you hear there's so many far out rumors that it's hard. So, what can the people who are watching this or listen to this later, what can they do to help support you and your family and help try to find Vladek?
That's a great question. Just taking the time to do a story today, that's huge. Um, and if you can just take a few more moments to reshare his flyer, his story on your social media pages, because you never know how your friend circle is connected to another friend circle who might know him.
Mhm.
Or like even um, I would love to hear from people that interacted with Vladek the weeks, days leading up to when he went missing too, because that sheds light into his mindset. That sheds light into what he was talking about during those days. Like,
Right.
anything helps. Anything can give a clearer picture of where to look. And you can follow along the search for him on all social media pages: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, everything, by just searching Find Vladek, and you'll find it. And just honestly continuing to reshare his story, because that's what it's going to take to reach someone that
Mhm.
remembers him.
I mean, that's what I try to tell everybody. I mean, we think it's something so simple, but it really can have a huge impact. It
Huge.
really can. Have you, do you, I'm trying to think of how to say it, go back and forth between you think something happened to him because he wouldn't have just walked off and left you hanging, right? So my first thought leads to somebody has to know something. He didn't just walk off on his own. So something happened. Is that
Um, I missed the
kind of
question.
where you,
It
I
one
said,
more.
do you kind of lean to something happened to him
Or
instead of him walking off on his own?
he is. I mean, there's so many possibilities, but the ones that I'm lean more to is he's protecting us. That there's someone that he is afraid of and he doesn't want us involved. Um, like, that's a possibility. I wonder, like, the trespass at Foxtail, like, how much did that really affect him? Like, that could have been a
Mhm.
real breaking point for him mentally.
It could have, yeah.
So, like, what is his mindset after that? Like, the um, what is it like? I'm trying to think of the terminology, but like, mental health in young men's lives typically manifest right around that age
Right
range.
around that age.
So, like, did that set something off? Did that affect him in a way? Like,
Absolutely. After, not being able to fulfill his dream in the Marines, and you've always been a good person, law abiding, and then to get told, hey, you ever come back here, you're getting arrested. That would impact somebody who's got such a big heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, well, I thank you so much for meeting with us and for, joining us today. Is there anything else that you would like to share with us and you would like everyone to know? Or Vladek, if he sees this?
Vlad, if you see this, you're not in trouble. We love you, and I just want to be able to hug you again and know if you're okay. So if you're just able to reach out to someone and just let us know, we need you back. I'm not going to make you come back to any sort of situation, but I just need to know. I just need you back in my life. I just miss you so much. And for those that are um, watching, if we do go live on TikTok every Tuesday night, typically around 9 o'clock Eastern time. So you can also follow the search that way. If you have questions in the weeks and the months coming up, you can come join the discussion there and get real answers. There's also a very detailed timeline of the events leading up to Vladek's disappearance that Haley, the lovely Haley, helped me put together. And we can have that link as well to check it out.
Just shared it in the chat. We'll see if it worked. How about that? Terry was able to figure out how to do a chat.
There is a link tree that has the list of all the platforms, the timeline, the
Oh, it's
fly.
very detailed. I mean, you guys have, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I was like, well, there gives me everything that we need to know. And I
It is
have to
Team
ask,
Black.
is his favorite color green?
His favorite color is neon green and black.
Okay. I kinda got that vibe, especially when I found the bracelet taped to the back
Yeah,
of the card. I was like, "Okay, he definitely liked that neon green,"
yeah, yeah.
which well, I thank you both for coming. Haley, I want to say thank you to you. I mean, I'm not part of the family, but everything I have heard from talking to other people about you who've worked with you, have heard of you, you are like a little Wonder Woman, I hear. And I just want to say thank you because I think it means a lot to the families and you do something that those of us can't. And I think that's amazing. It gives me goosebumps.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm definitely honored to be in this position, and I don't have kids or anything, so I'm able to like dedicate a lot of time. And yeah, I'm just so thankful that I'm able to do this, and thankful to Bethany for letting me in. I know we're wrapping things up, but when I just want to say, like, Bethany has been so welcoming to me. Like, I helped with the vigil last year and I flew to Florida for that and I got in a day early. And Bethany was like, "Hey, we're celebrating my dad's birthday. Want to go to dinner with us?" And I just like went to dinner with the whole family. And it was like, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about that. Like, it was like I was just immediately part of the family.
You,
And they're so lovely. And you just, every conversation you have with them, you just know how much they miss Vlad and how they just want him to come home. And yeah, but your love for Vlad is so inspiring and it makes me want to do these things. But thank you so much for having me. And I was glad to share extra info in the
Yes.
chat there for people because this is probably Bethany and I have worked on a document about Vlad's case for months and she just has so much information. A lot of the times with the missing person cases, you don't know a bunch, but Bethany knows everything. And so there are so many extra details where I was like, "Oh, I know more about that. Let me stick that in the chat."
No,
So,
I love that because I mean, unfortunately, there sometimes law enforcement doesn't give a lot of information or people don't have the other resources, a PI or things like that. I mean, you guys have a lot of information And I'm a firm believer that data and information is going to help you find him. It's not going to be just social media because nobody knows. It could just be one little bitty piece of information that they give you. And Bethany's going to be like, oh, wait, that
That,
fits right
that-
here. And then you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is where he is.
yeah.
And that's the thing that gets me excited because I'm a weirdo like that. But just knowing that it's just that one small little piece of information. And so the fact that you're keeping it and so well organized
It's
is
team
great.
Yeah,
so many people. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you guys, to you, Teri, for helping advocate for Vladek. It is truly a team, and I'm just grateful for each and every one of you.
I say it takes a full community. They say it takes a tribe to raise a child. When a family member goes missing, it takes the entire everybody. It's not just
Absolutely.
family.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And I want to thank you to all of the viewers who are watching this live and for anyone that's going to watch it later. Thank you for tuning in and for being a part of this important conversation. And if you have any information about Vladek, please call the Orange County Sheriff's Office at 407 254 7000. Or I'm going to guess if, like you said a while ago, Bethany, if they had any interactions with him right before he went missing, you would love to know so they can find you on the Facebook page
Yes,
and reach out to you.
and reach out to us, the family, directly by email as well at find Bryan Vladek Hasel, the full name right there, at gmail.com as well.
Okay. And I'm going to remind everybody, and I'm sure everybody who watches Midday Missing goes, okay, here, Teri's going to tell us. Please share the missing person flyers. Okay. They will be posted to our social media page. They've already been posted. And I say, share every missing person flyer you see. But before you do that, just take an extra step and Google it because unfortunately there are some scams happening right now with that. But I can tell you, every case that we cover here on Midday Missing, we have vetted and we are 100% sure they are still missing. So please share that flyer. But when you share it, ask your followers to share it too so you can keep it going. Okay. But I do thank you both again for joining us. And I'm going to just hope that some information comes in soon because it's been too long. And I think you probably want answers and you deserve those answers.
Thank you.
So thank you. And I am going to say bye to everybody. And just remember to stay safe, watch out for crime, and enjoy your wine time, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.